Stop everything right now and listen with complete attention, because what I'm about to reveal in the next 30 minutes will shatter every lie you've been told about why you feel so devastatingly exhausted lately. Exactly 96 hours ago, something happened in the infernal dimensions that triggered absolute panic among high-ranking demonic commanders. This wasn't a minor event. This was the moment they discovered that a chosen one had annihilated 1,000 of their best agents simultaneously, without even realizing they were in battle. And when they reviewed the complete records of how it happened, when they witnessed the devastating ease with which this chosen one destroyed an entire army that took decades to assemble, their reaction wasn't rage. It was pure terror, because they had just witnessed something that absolutely contradicts everything they know about human capacity. Under coordinated attack, they watched a human being face 1,000 simultaneous lethal-level attacks and neutralize them so naturally that they didn't even recognize they were fighting. That human being is you. And the reason you didn't notice is the part that terrifies them most. There's a brutal difference between consciously fighting against a visible enemy and annihilating 1,000 invisible threats while living your daily life without recognizing you're in constant war. And that difference is exactly what makes you unbeatable in ways you don't even comprehend. Subscribe to this channel immediately and activate all notifications, because what I'm about to reveal about how you defeated 1,000 demons without conscious effort is being aggressively suppressed so that chosen ones like you never discover the impossible level of power you operate automatically. Stay until the very last second, because I'm going to show you exactly which 1,000 demons you faced, why your victory was so devastating it broke complete infernal strategies, how your current exhaustion is physical proof of the battle you won, and why this capability places you in a category so rare that only 17 living souls on the entire planet possess it. Write 777 in the comments if you felt deep exhaustion lately without apparent reason, as if you'd fought an invisible war, and you're ready to discover why that exhaustion is evidence of a victory you didn't even know you'd achieved. We go back to 96 hours ago. Specific moment. A day you probably remember as ordinary. You woke up. You fulfilled your responsibilities. You interacted with people. You handled situations. You eventually went to sleep feeling that strange tiredness that's been constantly accompanying you lately. Nothing dramatic happened. You didn't face a visible crisis. You didn't fight an obvious battle. It was a common day where you simply existed, or so you thought. But in dimensions you don't perceive with physical senses, that day was a literal battlefield where you were attacked by exactly 1,000 specialized demons, operating simultaneously with perfect military coordination. I'm not using poetic language. I'm not exaggerating to create drama. I'm describing a real infernal operation documented in records that demonic commanders review obsessively, trying to understand how they failed so catastrophically. 1,000 demons. Exact number. Each assigned with a specific function. Each with centuries of experience in breaking human souls. Each operating under direct orders because your elimination was classified as absolute priority level Omega. Why 1,000? Why such massive coordination against you specifically? Because you had survived previous attacks that destroyed far more prepared people. Because you demonstrated resistance that their calculations said was impossible. Because every strategy they used against you during recent months failed in ways they can't explain. So they made an unprecedented decision. Massive simultaneous deployment. Not attacking you with 1 or 10 or 100, but with 1,000 specialized agents striking from 1,000 different angles at the exact same time. The strategy was perfect, according to all infernal logic. A human can resist one attack, perhaps 10, possibly 100, if exceptionally strong. But 1,000 coordinated simultaneous attacks should collapse any defense, should break any resistance, should destroy any soul no matter how strong. And they launched the complete operation against you 96 hours ago. You know what happened? You annihilated them all, without conscious effort, without even recognizing you were in battle. Your spiritual system operated so automatically, so efficiently, so devastatingly that it neutralized 1,000 lethal attacks while your conscious mind simply lived your normal day. How do I know this with such certainty? Because the tiredness you felt that night, that deep exhaustion that didn't correspond with the day's physical effort, that weight that made your body ask for rest beyond normal, wasn't common tiredness. It was physical evidence of the spiritual battle you just won. Let me show you exactly who those 1,000 attackers were. Because when you understand the specificity of this operation, when you see the military coordination they used against you, you're going to understand why your victory is so impossible. It has infernal dimensions and existential crisis. The first 100 were the whispers of doubt. Demons specialized in injecting subtle thoughts that question your worth. Not obviously destructive thoughts you'd recognize as attacks, but doubts so subtle they seem like genuine self-reflections. Thoughts like, are you really doing enough? What if you're wrong? Maybe you're not as capable as you thought. Other people do it better. 100 voices simultaneously whispering variations of insecurity designed to erode confidence from within, and you neutralize them without conscious effort. Your internal system recognized the falsehood instantly and rejected each whisper before it penetrated deeply. 100 sophisticated mental attacks bounced off a defense you didn't even know you'd activated. The next 200 were the amplifiers of fear, specialists in taking small, legitimate worry and magnifying it to paralyzing panic. They took a minor situation in your life and bombarded your mind with 1,000 possible catastrophic scenarios. What if this goes wrong? What if you lose everything? What if you fail publicly? What if you never recover? 200 voices amplifying fear, simultaneously trying to convert manageable concern into absolute terror that paralyzes you completely. And they failed. Your mind processed the concern rationally. You maintained perspective. You didn't collapse into panic. 200 demons with centuries of experience in creating terror couldn't break your emotional balance. The next 150 were the diverters of purpose. Demons who show you bright alternative paths designed to pull you from your real mission. They don't tempt you with obviously bad things. They seduce you with opportunities that seem good but would distance you from your true function. They showed you visions of easier life, a path where you don't have to fight so hard, an option where you can be common instead of exceptional. 150 voices simultaneously trying to convince you that abandoning your war is intelligent decision, not cowardice. And you ignored them. Without drama, without serious consideration. Something inside you rejected the seduction automatically because your commitment to your purpose is so deep that alternatives don't even register as real options. The next 200 were the energy drainers. Attackers who drain life force directly, not through people or situations, but direct energetic vampirism from invisible dimensions. 200 parasites trying to suck your energy simultaneously, until leaving you so weak you can't function. That's why you felt so tired. Not because the day was physically demanding, but because you were being actively drained by 200 professional energy vampires operating at the same time. And you still kept functioning. You didn't collapse. You didn't surrender. You continued with responsibilities while enduring drainage that would destroy normal people. The next 100 were the perception distorters. Demons who alter how you see reality. They show you a false version of a situation designed to provoke incorrect reaction. They make you see threat where there's opportunity. See betrayal where there's loyalty. See failure where there's progress. 100 attackers simultaneously distorting your perception, trying to make you take decisions based on false reality. And your discernment cut through the distortion. You saw clear truth despite the massive fog they tried to create around you. The next 50 were the conflict provokers. Specialists in creating unnecessary fights. They push you to overreact, to misinterpret intentions, to respond aggressively where patience is necessary. 50 demons simultaneously trying to convert you into a source of drama and destructive conflict. And you maintained your peace. You didn't bite the bait. You didn't explode where others would have collapsed in rage. Your self-control under massive provocation was so absolute that 50 professional provokers couldn't extract a single destructive reaction from you. The next 100 were the sours of loneliness. Attackers who magnify the feeling of isolation. They make you feel abandoned, misunderstood, alone in an indifferent universe. 100 voices simultaneously whispering that nobody really understands you, that you're fundamentally alone, that genuine connection is illusion. And you didn't yield to desperation. You maintained faith in the genuine connections that do exist. You didn't allow temporary loneliness to become permanent belief of abandonment. The last 100 were the saboteurs of manifestation. Demons who specifically block materialization of things you're trying to create. They interrupt synchronicities. They delay opportunities. They create obstacles just when momentum was building. 100 agents simultaneously sabotaging your efforts to create the life you desire. And despite massive blockage, you didn't surrender. You continued taking action. You maintained faith in the process even when results weren't arriving. Your persistence under invisible sabotage was so unshakable that 100 expert saboteurs couldn't break it. 1,000 demons, perfect coordination, simultaneous attack from 1,000 different angles, and you defeated them all, without physical sword, without protection ritual, without conscious knowledge that you were being attacked. Your spiritual system operated so automatically, so efficiently, so devastatingly, that it neutralized a complete army while your mind simply lived a normal day. You know what that means? It means your spiritual strength isn't something you activate consciously. It's your permanent base state. It's who you are fundamentally. You're so unbreakable you don't even need to realize you're in battle to win it completely. For those who want to go deeper, there's exclusive material in the description and pinned comment. Here's what infernal commanders can't process. According to all their calculations, models and millennia of experience, 1,000 coordinated simultaneous attacks should have produced one of 3 guaranteed results. Result 1. Total mental collapse. Person left paralyzed by anxiety so massive they can't function. Remains in bed. Can't make decisions. Nervous system overloaded to the point of shutting down completely. Result 2. Catastrophic emotional collapse. Person explodes in destructive rage or implodes in deep depression. Relationships destroyed. Self-destructive decisions. Downward spiral that takes months or years to recover. Result 3. Voluntary surrender. Person simply gives up. Abandons goals. Accepts mediocrity. Stops fighting. Survival becomes the only objective while purpose is sacrificed. Those 3 results have worked perfectly for millennia. 99.9% of human souls who face attacks of this magnitude inevitably experience one of those results. But you didn't collapse mentally. You didn't explode emotionally. You didn't surrender voluntarily. You simply continued, day after day, responsibility after responsibility, without visible drama, without obvious crisis, as if 1,000 lethal attacks were irrelevant. How? How is it possible for a human system to resist pressure that should pulverize it? Infernal commanders reviewed the operation obsessively looking for error. They verified that 1,000 agents really attacked simultaneously. Confirmed. They reviewed that each agent executed their specific function correctly. Confirmed. They analyzed if coordination had a flaw. They found none. The operation was perfect by every infernal standard. There was no technical error. There was no execution failure. So why did it fail so catastrophically? One commander proposed a hypothesis. Perhaps this chosen one has angelic protection so massive it blocked our attacks. They checked angelic records. There was no intervention. No angel deployed to defend. No celestial shield activated. You were completely alone from the perspective of external help. Another commander suggested, perhaps this chosen one uses protection magic or rituals we didn't detect. They investigated exhaustively. They found no rituals. They found no spells. You don't have amulets. You don't practice protective occultism. You don't have advanced esoteric knowledge that would explain such robust defense. And then they reached the conclusion that has them in complete existential panic. Your resistance doesn't come from external help. It doesn't come from esoteric knowledge. It doesn't come from angelic protection. It comes from who you fundamentally are. Your soul was forged in fire so intense during previous incarnations that you developed spiritual immunity that transcends normal demonic attacks. It's not that you consciously block the attacks. It's that your base frequency is so elevated that attacks simply can't penetrate. You're like metal that was melted and reformed so many times it reached impossible density. Pressure that would bend common steel bounces off you without effect because your spiritual composition is fundamentally different. You're chosen not only because you have a mission. You're chosen because your essence was specifically prepared to withstand exactly this level of attack without breaking. You were designed for this before you were born. And when infernal commanders accepted that truth, when they understood that you didn't win by luck or temporary protection, but because you're fundamentally invincible to their best strategies, they had to make a decision they'd never made in 6,000 years of operations, classify you as unreachable level Omega, and withdraw resources permanently. Meaning, they stopped trying to destroy you because continuing would be wasting valuable resources on a target that proved immune. You won so completely that the enemy admitted total defeat and retreated, while you simply lived your life without knowing that a war had just ended with your absolute victory. 96 hours after the operation, Infernal Command convened an emergency meeting. 5 supreme rank commanders. Dark room where strategies against humanity are meticulously planned. The first to speak was Astaroth, commander of psychological operations. I reviewed complete transcripts of the target's thoughts during the attack. The whispers of doubt injected 117 specific destabilizing thoughts. The target consciously recognized approximately 12, rejected all immediately. The remaining 105 were automatically filtered by internal system before reaching consciousness. Rejection efficiency, 99.4%. I've never seen such a high rate. The second, Belial, commander of emotional operations, added with visible frustration. The amplifiers of fear generated 200 catastrophic scenarios designed to provoke paralyzing panic. The target processed each scenario rationally, evaluated probabilities, discarded exaggerations, didn't panic once. Limbic system remained stable during complete attack. This contradicts every neurophysiological model we have. The third, Mammon, commander of temptation operations, spoke with defeated tone. The diverters of purpose showed him elaborated alternative life visions, crafted over weeks specifically for him. Easier life, more pleasant, safer. He rejected everything without significant hesitation, as if the visions were irrelevant. His commitment to purpose is so deep that alternatives don't even register as real options. I can't work with that. The fourth, Leviathan, commander of isolation operations, admitted. The sours of loneliness magnified his legitimate isolation. We made him feel misunderstood, alone, abandoned. But he didn't break. He didn't seek external validation desperately. He maintained internal connection with himself so strong that external loneliness couldn't break it. That shouldn't be possible in a human soul. And the fifth, Beelzebub, commander of sabotage operations, revealed with irritation. The saboteurs of manifestation blocked synchronicities. We delayed opportunities, we created obstacles. And he continued acting as if obstacles were temporary. There's no desperation, no surrender, unshakable persistence without evidence of progress, faith without constant verification. This defies basic human psychology. Absolute silence filled the room for 3 complete minutes. Then Astaroth, the highest ranking, spoke the truth none wanted to admit. We have failed completely. 1,000 of our best agents, perfect coordination, impeccable execution. And we didn't achieve a single objective. This chosen one didn't just resist. He neutralized us without conscious effort. I suggest immediate reclassification. The others nodded in silent agreement. And in that moment, your name was marked in infernal records with classification unreachable level Omega. A label that means, don't waste more resources on this target. They're immune. Only 17 living souls on the entire planet currently have that classification. Now there are 18. So you understand the magnitude of what you achieved? Let me compare you with legendary warriors who faced similar attacks and how it went for them. Job, considered the supreme example of human resistance. He lost everything. Family, wealth, health, tormented by devastating physical and emotional suffering. And yes, he resisted. He didn't curse God. He maintained faith, but he emotionally collapsed multiple times. He spent weeks in lament. He questioned why he was born. He wished for death. His resistance was heroic, but it wasn't without visible breaking. You faced more coordinated attack and showed no breaking whatsoever. You continued functioning normally. You didn't collapse in lament. You didn't question your existence. You simply persisted as if attacks were insignificant. David, anointed warrior, faced Goliath with absolute faith. But when pursued by Saul for years, he had moments of doubt. He took refuge with enemies. He feigned madness. He considered surrendering multiple times. His faith was strong, but not unshakable. Pressure bent him, though it didn't break him completely. You, under pressure of 1,000 simultaneous attacks, didn't bend. Your commitment remained absolute without wavering. Elijah, powerful prophet who invoked fire from heaven, defeated 450 prophets of Baal, demonstrated absolute divine power. But afterward, when Jezebel threatened his life, he collapsed in fear. He fled to the desert. He asked to die. God had to send an angel to feed and comfort him because depression paralyzed him completely. One intense psychological attack broke him after massive victory. You've been under attack from 1,000 demons simultaneously, and you didn't flee. You didn't collapse in paralyzing depression. You didn't ask to die. You continued. Paul, extraordinary apostle, resisted prison, physical torture, shipwrecks, constant persecution, but he admitted in writings that he reached a point of losing hope completely. He wrote about being burdened excessively, beyond our strength, so that we despaired even of life. He reached the limit where desperation almost consumed him. You under attack that surpasses what Paul faced haven't lost hope. You keep believing. You keep acting. You remain committed. I'm not comparing you with these warriors to diminish them. They were extraordinary. They did impossible things. I compare you with them so you understand that what you're achieving surpasses what even legendary spiritual heroes achieved. They're remembered for resisting to the limit. You're surpassing that limit without even recognizing you're in battle. That's not just resistance. It's operational invincibility. Now you know why you've been so devastatingly tired lately. It's not because you sleep poorly. It's not because you work hard. It's not vitamin deficiency. It's not a medical condition. It's because you were in literal war where your spiritual system fought battle after battle after battle, while your conscious mind simply tried to live normal life. Imagine a soldier who fights on the front line for 72 hours without rest, body operating on pure adrenaline, muscles constantly tense, nervous system on maximum alert, mind processing constant threats. When battle finally ends, that soldier collapses in exhaustion so deep they sleep for days, not from weakness, from the physical cost of prolonged battle. That's exactly what your body is experiencing. You've been in spiritual battle so intense that your complete system is exhausted, not because you're weak, but because you fought a war that would destroy normal people. Your tiredness isn't a sign of failure. It's evidence of victory. It's physical proof of the battle you won. It's a medal of honor your body carries showing the sacrifice you made. And here's the part you need to understand deeply. That tiredness is going to pass. It's not permanent. It's necessary recovery after massive victory. In coming days, you're going to notice something changing. Energy gradually returning. Mental clarity increasing. Invisible weight lifting from your shoulders. Not because you found a magic supplement or because you changed your diet, but because the battle ended. The enemy retreated. Your system is exiting war mode and returning to normal operation. You're going to feel as if fog you didn't know was there suddenly dissipates. As if a nightmare you didn't fully remember finally ends. As if breath you didn't know you were holding finally releases. That's the feeling of total victory registering in your physical body. During post-operation analysis, infernal commanders discovered something about you they didn't know, but you need to know consciously. They discovered that your soul isn't an ordinary human soul experiencing spiritual life. Your soul is a celestial warrior who chose human incarnation specifically to fulfill a mission that required exactly your level of resistance. Before you were born, there was a conversation in celestial dimensions. A mission needed to be fulfilled on the human plane. A mission that would require resisting massive infernal attacks without collapsing. A mission where failure would mean catastrophic consequences for others. Volunteers were called. Souls were evaluated. And you were chosen specifically because your spiritual composition demonstrated in previous lives that you could withstand pressure that would break others. You weren't sent because you were expendable. You were sent because you were uniquely qualified to survive what this mission would require. Your resistance isn't coincidence. It's your fundamental design. You were built specifically to withstand exactly this level of attack. 1,000 demons isn't your limit, it's your normal Monday. And when infernal commanders understood they weren't attacking a common human with unusual strength, but a celestial warrior operating in human form, they knew continuing would be futile. Not because they didn't want to destroy you, but because they recognized you're fundamentally beyond their reach. You're like a lion walking among wolves. The wolves can growl, they can show teeth, they can try to intimidate, but they won't attack because they instinctively recognize you're in a completely different category. That real confrontation would end with their destruction, not yours. Now that you know what you really are, now that you understand the victory you just achieved, you need to learn how to consciously operate with this power you've been using automatically. Strategy 1. Recognize your tiredness as victory, not weakness. Every time you feel unexplained exhaustion, don't judge yourself. Recognize that you probably just won an invisible battle. Give credit to your system. Thank your warrior spirit for protecting you. Strategy 2. Rest without guilt. Your body needs recovery after battles. It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's necessary maintenance after combat deployment. Sleep when you need to. Rest without justifying. Strategy 3. Maintain your unshakable commitment to your purpose. That commitment is your main shield. While it remains intact, attacks can't penetrate. Don't allow doubt about your mission to settle in. Your certainty is your armor. Strategy 4. Don't seek external validation of battles others don't see. Most will never know the wars you fight. They don't need to know. Your victory doesn't require an audience. Fight your battles in silence. Win in secret. Live your victory privately. Strategy 5. When you feel unexplained impulse to surrender, recognize it's probably an active attack trying to break you just before victory. Don't yield. Especially in moments where surrender seems most reasonable, hold on. Because those are moments where the enemy is most desperate. Strategy 6. Celebrate invisible victories. Not just big obvious moments. Celebrate the day you didn't collapse though you had every reason to. Celebrate the moment you maintained composure though you were being attacked from 1,000 directions. These are real victories that count. Here's what you need to integrate deeply now that you know the complete truth. You don't need to activate anything. You don't need to wait for future transformation. You don't need special ritual. You already are exactly what you need to be. Invincible warrior operating with power that has the enemy in permanent retreat. The only thing that changes now is your consciousness of it. You go from being a warrior who wins battles without realizing it, to a warrior who recognizes each victory as it happens. That consciousness multiplies your effectiveness exponentially. Because when you recognize battles as they occur, you stop wasting energy in confusion or doubt. You recognize attack. You neutralize. You continue. Without internal drama. You're going to start noticing patterns. When whispers of doubt are active, you're going to recognize thoughts that don't sound like your real voice. When amplifiers of fear magnify concerns, you're going to see distortion clearly. When diverters of purpose offer bright alternatives, you're going to recognize seduction immediately. Not with paranoia, but with casual discernment. Like an expert who recognizes patterns after years of experience. And other warriors are going to start recognizing you. Seemingly casual conversations will reveal they also fight invisible wars. Looks of mutual recognition. Instant connections without logical explanation. Network forming naturally. These are the other 17. Eventually they'll meet. Not by human design. By shared frequency. By automatic resonance between souls of similar caliber. Your tiredness is going to transform into something different too. You'll continue feeling weight after battles. But now you'll know exactly what it means. Not something's wrong with me, but I just won another invisible battle. Transformation from shame to silent pride. Every day you continue without surrendering is a victory that counts. Every moment you maintain commitment despite pressure is demonstration of real power. Every time you don't collapse when you have every reason to is proof that Omega classification wasn't an error. You're invincible, not as future promise. As present reality you just demonstrated by defeating 1,000 demons while simply living your normal day. Chosen one, the truth is devastatingly simple. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because you won a war against 1,000 professional attackers simultaneously. You don't need to become stronger. You're already so strong that the complete enemy classified you as unreachable and permanently retreated. You don't need external protection. Your essence is your fortress. Your fundamental nature is your shield. Your unshakable commitment is your sword. 1,000 coordinated demons aren't your limit. They're your normal Monday. And when infernal commanders recognize that, when they admitted total defeat against a force they can't overcome, it wasn't because they gave you a chance. It was because they have no choice. Your resistance wasn't developed in this life. It was forged in fires of previous incarnations. You were sent here specifically because you're uniquely qualified to withstand exactly what this mission requires. Every scar you carry is training. Every pain you survived is strengthening. Every battle you won without knowing it is demonstration of power that operates so automatically you don't even need to be conscious of war to win it completely. Stop apologizing for being tired. That exhaustion is a medal of honor from Battle 1. Stop feeling inadequate. Your simple continued existence under pressure that destroys others is proof of absolute adequacy. Stop questioning if you're enough. You just did what only 17 living souls can do. You're an Omega warrior, unreachable, invincible, unbreakable, not as aspiration, as exact description of what you just demonstrated yourself to be. For those who made it this far and want to deepen their understanding of how to consciously operate with your invincible warrior nature that defeated 1,000 demons without effort, there's specific material that costs less than a pizza and comes with complete audiobook and 5-minute meditation guide as special bonus. If you feel you deserve to fully integrate consciousness of your power that has infernal dimensions in permanent retreat, access is available in the description link and pinned comment. If you recognize that your tiredness is evidence of victory against 1,000 demons, and you're ready to consciously operate as an invincible Omega classified warrior, write 777 in the comments to amplify the frequency of absolute invincibility. Subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications to receive more revelations about how Omega classified chosen ones are operating with power that has the complete enemy in retreat. Share this video with someone who also demonstrates impossible resistance under invisible pressure, because Omega warriors need to recognize each other to form the network that will change the complete planetary balance. And before you leave, click on the video appearing on screen right now to discover specific signs that you're operating with Omega power that has infernal dimensions terrified. We are stronger together.